I'd like to call up our best man this evening, Antonio.
Just want to let you know that I had to hide the bowler and sunglasses behind the front door because Enzo didn't want us to do anything crazy coming in the room, but I just want to apologize now, Enzo. Sorry about that. So first off, I'd like to thank the parents of the bride, Colette and Czech. Thank you very much. Without you, you wouldn't have made a beautiful daughter to meet Enzo and Santo and Francesca for raising such a fine gentleman. So thank you both for that. Nice round of applause for our parents. I must first off saying that I've never met a bride so relaxed in 18 months of planning a wedding than I have Jill. And after going through all the process and being involved and being here with Enzo, I realized one thing. This is really Enzo's wedding, and Jillian was just invited. So thank you, Enzo, for having us all here today. Thank you all. Some people have traveled from overseas, from Italy, some from out of state, so give yourselves a round of applause for making the trip down here. So when Enzo asked me to be his best man, the first thing I got nervous about was doing the speech. Not that I have a fear of talking in front of people, because I could go on for about 3 hours, but I'm not going to do that. But it's really difficult to put into words, 29 years basically of a friendship. Enzo and I met in kindergarten at Immaculate Conception in Malden when he first came over from Catania, Sicily, and spoke no English. And I spoke a little Italian as a 5-year-old, didn't know too much. But I knew enough to speak to Enzo because I knew how to use my hands. With that being said, Jill, I brought you a little gift to help you speak with his family. This is Italian without words. It's all about hand gestures and how to communicate with the Italians. That's for you. So I'll never forget in kindergarten that class, we were all sitting against the wall Indian style, and Miss Matuccio, our kindergarten teacher, was calling us up one by one at 10 o'clock in the morning for snack time. Enzo goes up out of sequences, he couldn't understand what the teacher was saying. So I'm trying to tell him what's going on here, so as he's running to go get his lunchbox, I run up and, grab the back of his pants and hook onto his pocket. And Enzo couldn't understand what I was doing or saying, so he proceeded to run, and I ripped the pocket and the back of his leg right off his pants. So therefore, Enzo had a great first week of kindergarten with everyone seeing him with his diapers on. He could finally go to his lunchbox. We all sat at the table and we all pulled out our cheese and crackers and fruit roll-up. Enzo's parents owned DePietro's Bakery and Pizzeria across the street. He pulls out a prosciutto and mozzarella sandwich. Right then and there, I knew this kid and I were going to get along, and I realized his love for food. And we planned an entire bachelor party to Toronto based on cuisine. Most people want to go to strip clubs and nightclubs. Enzo wanted to go to the 5-star restaurants throughout the various parts of town, and I think we accomplished that very well. So some of you might not know this, but Jillian and I and Enzo and Caitlin have all actually grown up together at Immaculate in Malden. So Enzo has known Jillian since she was in nursery school. So when the priest was talking about them first meeting eyes, I don't think they really remember the first time they saw each other. Jillian, growing up all through school, was a straight A student, and ironically, Enzo was too. He's academically gifted, a little socially challenged. His A's more fall along the lines of annoying, obnoxious, and argumentative. I think we can all agree with that. All through high school, Jill was busy studying and being on the swimming team and the volleyball team and achieving high honors. Enzo and I spent every afternoon at Malden Catholic till 3:30 p.m. setting up for bingo in detention. Really got to bond through those years. But in all honesty, we're lucky to have Enzo here with us today. I don't know if you all know, but some of you might. In high school, at our senior year, our prom, Enzo was in a very serious car accident after prom up in New Hampshire. We did an overnight over there, and at 6 in the morning, we drove, about 5 miles from home to drop off some friends to catch a bus back to Boston. And Enzo fell asleep at the wheel about half a mile back from the house we were staying at, hit a tree. We told the police there was a squirrel on the road that he swerved around, and the tree happened to be there. Enzo was near near dead at that point, and we had a traumatic experience of getting him out of the vehicle and getting him to Boston with some help of our good friends, Chief John O'Brien, retired Melrose Fire Department. Thank you for the 40 hours community service that Enzo provided by cooking pasta. Fantastic, you did good job. That was the fastest 40 hours community service anyone has ever served. And in all honesty, so, you know, we're lucky to have Enzo here with us today, and that's why he does this little Mussolini walk nowadays. Then off to college, Jillian went on to study bigger and better, greater things to try to change this world, while Enzo was a connoisseur of Commonwealth Ave and the effect of electronic music and alcohol on students. And he was a king of that subject matter. Enzo and I have had an interesting career path since graduation of college. We've always basically worked together, from Citizens Bank under Chris Kufos, who's here somewhere in the office. She was our former boss, and we tortured her. And Chris coined us the Bellow Boys. So if you hear Enzo was talking about Bellow, that's thanks to Chris over there in the corner. We've gone through numerous jobs following one another, and actually started a business together as well. The Clada Bing Irish-Italian Comedy Wedding, in which we named our bride after Jillian, and today we have the real Clada Bing here, ladies and gentlemen. But in all honesty, Enzo's been a tremendous friend to me. I call him probably at least, every day, but at least once a month I call him to vent my frustrations and my anger with my job. And Enzo talks me off the cliff each and every time. He also helps me with the numerous women issues that I have in my life and my self-destructive relationships. So I can't thank you enough. But when they met, was a night that I'll never forget. The next morning, when I spoke to Enzo, and he said that he met up with Jessica, one of our beautiful bridesmaids, and our other friend Leo, and that he was hanging out with Jillian Ahern. I'm like, Caitlin's little sister, Jillian, what were you doing out with her? And he was like, oh, I don't know, we ran into each other, we had a good time, and I thought nothing of it. Then they started hanging out again. So then I met up with Jill and started talking to her, and I realized everything clicked at that point in time. She was going to college to be a social worker, and she needed a subject for her thesis. And, what better subject than Vincenzo Stuto? I mean, come on. So we went from thesis to marriage, and that brings us here today. So thank you, Jill, because we lost all hope for Enzo, and you must have been considering the nunnery, because it takes a true angel to be with this man, so thank you. But in all honesty, when the two of them are together, it's something phenomenal. Enzo, who never shuts his mouth, and he's trying really hard right now because he wanted the microphone tonight, and we refused to let him give a speech at his own wedding. When he's with Jillian, there is a tranquility that comes over Enzo, a whole new Enzo that actually comes out. A very calmer, quieter, respectful, a guy you actually want to be around. So thank you, Jill, for bringing that guy out. The two of them really just have a chemistry that you can't describe unless you're around them. And I hope that you guys have a lot of love, happiness, and success going forward. And we have two sides of the families here. We have the Irish and the Italian side, so I thought I'd do a toast for both. So the first I'll do is a little Irish toast. So if you want to raise your glasses here, may the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the warm rays of the sun fall upon your home. And may the hand of a friend always be near. And for the Italians in the room, vai piano, vai sano, e vai lontano. 100 anni. Many happy years, everybody.
Nice round of applause for Antonio.